the number 7 began to acquire supernatural connotations. There were 7 heavens, the transparent spherical shells, centered on the earth, that were imagined to make these worlds move. The outermost, the 7th heaven, is where the fixed stars were imagined to reside. There are 7 days of creation, if we include God's day of rest, 7 orifices to the head, 7 virtues, 7 deadly sins, 7 evil demons in the Sumerian myth, 7 vowels in the Greek alphabet, each affiliated with a planetary god, 7 governors of destiny according to the Hermetists, 7 great books of Manichaeism, 7 sacraments, 7 sages of ancient Greece, and 7 alchemical bodies, gold, silver, iron, mercury, lead, tin, and copper. Gold still associated with the sun, silver with the moon, iron with Mars, etc. The 7th son of a 7th son is endowed with supernatural powers. 7 is a lucky number. In the New Testament's book of Revelations, 7 seals on a scroll are opened, 7 trumpets are sounded, 7 bowls are filled. St. Augustine obscurely argued for the mystic importance of 7 on the grounds that 3 is the first whole number that is odd. What about 1? 4, the first that is even. What about 2? And of these, 7 is composed, and so on. Even in our time, these associations linger. The existence even of the 4 satellites of Jupiter that Galileo discovered, hardly planets, was disbelieved on the grounds that it challenged the precedence of the number 7. As acceptance of the Copernican system grew, the Earth was added to the list of planets, and the Sun and Moon were removed. Thus, there seemed to be only 6 planets: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. So learned academic arguments were invented showing why there had to be 6. For example, 6 is the first perfect number, equal to the sum of its divisors, 1 plus 2 plus 3, QED. And anyway, there were only 6 days of creation, not 7. People found ways to accommodate from 7 planets to 6. As those adept at numerological mysticism adjusted to the Copernican system, this self-indulgent mode of thinking spilled over from planets to moons. The Earth had 1 moon, Jupiter had the 4 Galilean moons. That made 5. Clearly 1 was missing. Don't forget, 6 is the first perfect number. When Huygens discovered Titan in 1655, he and many others convinced themselves that it was the last. 6 planets, 6 moons, and gods in his heaven. The historian of science, I. Bernard Cohen of Harvard University, has pointed out that Huygens actually gave up searching for other moons because it was apparent, from such arguments, that no more were to be found. 16 years later, ironically with Huygens in attendance, G.D. Cassini of the Paris Observatory discovered a 7th moon, Iapetus, a bizarre world with one hemisphere black and the other white, in an orbit exterior to Titan's. Shortly after, Cassini discovered Rhea, the next Saturnian moon interior to Titan. Here was another opportunity for numerology, this time harnessed to the practical task of flattering patrons. Cassini added up the number of planets, 6, and the number of satellites, 8, and got 14. Now it so happened that the man who built Cassini's observatory for him and paid his salary was Louis XIV of France, the Sun King. The astronomer promptly presented these 2 new moons to his sovereign and proclaimed that Louis's conquests reached to the ends of the solar system. Discreetly, Cassini then backed off from looking for more moons. Cohen suggests he was afraid one more might now offend Louis, a monarch not to be trifled with, who would shortly be throwing his subjects into dungeons for the crime of being Protestants. 12 years later, though, Cassini returned to the search and found, doubtless with a measure of trepidation, another 2 moons. It is probably a good thing that we have not continued in this vein, otherwise France would have been burdened by 60-some-odd Bourbon kings named Louis.